Hello and welcome to watchandlearnphotoshop.com. In today's tutorial, I'm going to show you how to create a lightning effect in Photoshop. So let's get started. Let's go to File, New, and let's make this 600 by 600. Click on OK. Alright, there's our file. Alright, now in order to create a stroke of lightning, there are, I'm sure, a million different ways that you can do this, but I'm going to show you one effect that I use. I'm going to use the gradient tool first of all, and I'm going to paint a gradient on the stage that's just a black to white gradient. So we'll drag our cursor across here to create that gradient. And there we go. Now the next thing we're going to use the filter menu. We're going to go to Render, and we're going to click on Difference Clouds. Now before I click on that, let me explain to you how that's going to work. It's going to be similar to using the Difference Layer mode over here in your Layers panel, in that the dark colors are going to come out as kind of a bright color. The light colors are going to come out as the same bright color, but the gray tones are going to be darker. And you'll see what I mean. We'll click on Filter, Render, Difference Clouds, and you'll see the areas where the black was over here on the left, we have more white. In the areas over here on the right where the white was, we still have more white. But in the gray areas, you'll notice we have a lot more black. Alright, now we kind of have our lightning here in the center. Now what I want to do here is invert this, because we want the lightning to be white, not black. So with that layer selected, we'll go to Image, Adjustments, Invert, or you can just hit Control-I on your keyboard. And there we go. Now what we want to do is to get rid of some of these brighter colors over here on the side. So we're going to mess with our levels here. We'll go to Image, Adjustments, Levels. And what we're going to do is we're going to drag in the darkness slider over here. And you'll notice some of those dark colors begin to disappear as we do that. Once we get it to a certain point, we also want to adjust the mid-tone slider as well. And there we go. Now we have kind of a crazy lightning effect going on over here. We might not want it to go this crazy, so you might want to try a couple times. Let's go ahead and hit cancel on that. Let's go back and try those difference clouds again. Let's go all the way back to our new file here. And what I'm going to do is, with our gradient tool selected, I'm going to make our grays a little bit narrower. And the way I'm going to do that is I'm not going to start all the way over here on the left edge and then drag it all the way over to the right. Instead, I'm going to start a little closer to the center and drag across. And I'm not going to drag across quite as far. So our gray tones here won't be as much. Okay, now let's try again. Filter, Render, Difference Clouds. And there we go. We can see right away that this has a much more solid line to it. Okay, so now once again we'll go to Image, Adjustments, Invert. There we go, and once again we want to bring in the dark tones. So we're going to go to Image, Adjustments, and Levels. And again, we're going to bring in those dark colors. We'll bring that slider into the right. And once we get it to a certain point, we'll start dragging in these mid-tones as well. So it looks kind of cool to have some of this cloudy effect over here, but not too much of it. There we go, that looks pretty good. And click on OK. So there is a basic just bolt of lightning. Now let's say you want another bolt of lightning coming out to the left a little bit. Well, let's start this on a new layer. We'll create a new layer in our Layers palette. And in this new layer, we're going to create another gradient. Except instead of having the gray tones just going up and down right here in the center, let's say we want our gradients, or our midtones, over here to the left a little bit and kind of going in at an angle. So we're going to create our gradient at an angle, like so. And now we have our gray tones over here. Alright, now let's create our difference clouds again. We'll go to Filter, Render, Difference Clouds, and there you'll see our bolt of lightning over here where the gray tones were. Now we're again going to invert that, so we'll go to Image, Adjustments, Invert, or hit Control-I on your keyboard. There we go. Now we're going to go back to Image, Adjustments, and Levels to bring in those dark colors. Let's bring in that darkness slider. And then bring in the midtones as well. Alright, there we go. Click on OK. Alright, now how do we get that lightning underneath to show through? Well, we can do that by changing the layer mode of this second layer that we've created, and we're going to change that from normal to screen. And when you use screen, the light colors shine through. So when we switch this to screen, there we go. We have two bolts of lightning coming out in different directions. And if you want to add some kind of tint to it, like a yellow lightning or a blue lightning, let me show you how to do that. First, we would join these two layers together. So I'm going to shift click on background to select it as well. So both of these layers are selected. We'll hit Control E to join those together. There we go. Okay, now we're going to add a tint to it. We're going to add a hue saturation layer to it. So we're going to Layer, New Adjustment Layer, Hue Saturation. And we're going to check this box, Use Previous Layer to create clipping mask, and click on OK. Alright, now we're going to, in this hue saturation slider, we're going to make sure that colorize is selected, so click on that. And then as you drag your hue across, you'll notice your lightning changing colors. Let's bring the saturation up a little bit to make it a little stronger. Alright, and if we want kind of a light blue, there you go. Or you could go for yellow. Or basically any color you want to go for. I'm going to leave it at that sharp bluish purple color and click on OK. And that is basically one way that you can create lightning using Photoshop, and you can see it's very realistic looking and very easy to do, just a few simple steps, and it's very random, so every single time you do it it's going to look a little different. So that's how you create lightning in Photoshop. I hope you can find some new and creative ways to apply this to your own projects. So thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next tip.